Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney Rodriguez, and here on this channel we discuss fashion, finance, and fitness, both of the mental and physical variety. If you're not subscribed yet, you can go right ahead and subscribe. Um, Here in this community, we believe in using time wisely and becoming the very best version of ourselves. If that sounds like you, welcome to the club. Today we're going to be discussing money. um, so my last few videos I did mental fitness, and that's in the form of writing. And so today I'm going to be discussing finances, and a little bit of my own experiences that I would have had along the way. So we're looking at 3 steps to basically financial freedom. 3 steps. It's not that simple. It really is not. But there are three general areas, right? So the first step is you have to know your expenses and your income, right? You need to get yourself calculator, pen and paper, whatever you need to get, and state your expenses, right, like explicitly in front of you, and then make sure that you know how your income is taking care of those expenses, right? Do not make the mistake of simply going to work or having a business and not knowing how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. All right. Second, you need to remove bad debt. Bad debt is the debt that doesn't make more money for you. Bad debt is the kind of debt that doesn't pay itself off. Yeah. So if you have a land on lease and you're renting it, so the rent pays for the lease and then it also give you a profit. Perfect. Keep that. Good debt. Bad debt is for the car that you drive and then you pay for the car, which is, some people just don't get it. Pay for the car through maybe a dealer or the bank, and monthly you pay for the car, you pay the cleaning expenses if necessary, and then you also pay for gas. And here in Ghana we have road tax, so you need to pay that as well. And there are other expenses that I don't need to get into, but when you have cars in our country here. However, the final step is to invest in assets. I said assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out of your pocket. So be very, very mindful of where your money goes. Assets, real estate is asset. Businesses are assets. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, FDS, STF, stocks. All right. So recently I've been seeing a surge here in my country of people going into forex, which is foreign exchange on the market. It's not easy, and the companies that are inviting you to bring 2 friends and then you have to pay less, whatnot, it's a Ponzi scheme. The banking establishment is also a Ponzi scheme. They use your money to pay other people and then make profits off of your money, right? While you're just giving them for safekeeping or whatever purposes. All right. So of course you make money, but as an entrepreneur, the spirit of solving problems is not there. So you think and you believe that you're going to get money, but it's just Peter paying for Paul. So somebody gives the Ponzi scheme people or the banks $5,000, and then they say to you, the Ponzi scheme people, not the banks. Ponzi scheme people say, we're going to make it into 10 in 20 days. And then they tell that to 4 people. And during that 20 days, they're going to give the 10 that they have to somebody. And they have more time to get money to the other people as well. And those other people get 3 other people or 4 other persons or 2 other persons. And they come in. And it goes on an entire chain until it explodes. The bubble explodes. Alright? So be careful with Ponzi schemes. Be careful with, making money from your phone, not doing much, staying at home, just make money. Yeah, careful with that. It does make money for some people, all right, but some people get robbed. I chose to address money today because I was watching a video, Jafar's latest video. I'm going to have it in the link in the description. So over to his channel, he was, there was a question about finances, during the Corona time, the lockdown period, which we still, we have here in Guyana. How do you make money? Somebody's in financial, financial turmoil. So these 3 steps could help you. Specific ways to make money, though, just Google it. just YouTube it. I'm telling you, there's so many ways, so many ways. And if you're looking at this video right now, you have an opportunity to learn so much more than I'm giving you here. All right. Matt Diavella explored one of the ways, is getting a regular job. No, not everybody wants to be rich and have, jets and all the other things, but a regular job, just you need to know what your rich life is. That's what he said, and you need to know how much money makes you comfortable. So you need to calculate that. Basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and percentages. Basic. All right. ALOX 50 Steps to Riches. I'll have it linked in the description as well. I'm not plane. Another. So I'm near an airport, so the planes usually pass. Yeah. So another really really good tool is this 15 Steps to Riches. Go over to ALOX. I'm going to have it in the description as well. So for my financial journey, I've learned quite a few things. I left school, I graduated, and before I graduated, I was working at a car wash, right? So it all began with the importance we place on money, right? Importance of money, because we as people, sometimes you become parents, whatnot, and that my parents didn't put importance on money, all right? My mother is so she grew up with natives. She's native. I am also part native Guyanese, right? So in our country, we refer to our natives as Amerindians, right? So in that community, there's not really a need for money. They use barter system mostly, and they promote happiness and peace, in her specific community. So until they left that community in the interior, and they came, my mother and her sisters and brothers, and they came to Georgetown, to our capital, right, where capitalism was the thing. They learned about money, and they were already into adulthood, right? So the training, so the training that most children and families would have had by that time, they didn't have. My father as well, he grew up in the capital city, but he grew up in one of those impoverished communities, right? And so for him, a great achievement for him was that school was not really a thing, because it was very difficult to attend school. During his 20s, he taught himself how to read. Yeah, he did that. So my parents didn't have the strongest financial foundation that they would have started with, but comparing that where they started with to where they are now, it's astronomical. It's very inspiring. Although they would have had their individual limitations and issues with finances, right? So for me, I had to my job was to create a foundation, a larger foundation, and I was to build on what they had, all right. And given the fact that they didn't put an importance on money, it took greater effort to build on what they had, all right, because they didn't know about it. They couldn't have, they weren't taught about it, and they couldn't teach me about it effectively either. So I'm 25 now, and my financial education journey began at 20 years old. At 22, I began implementing the learnings, the education. Education is a process of self-discovery. If you learn something and never implement it, then you're wasting your time learning, all right? So, car wash. So I was washing car at that time. My father, he owned the car wash. I would wash cars when school was out in the summer, yeah. And my salary for that was about $10 per week. Yeah, $10 per week. So it was 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. washing cars, $10 per week. I immediately hated jobs. From that initial job, I hated jobs. Employment, no. Business, yes. Employment, no. So that was my experience. And it was my father. He had that and a few other businesses as well, right? Now I'm older now. I understood that he was teaching me, the just the importance of hard work and getting not depending on everybody else for something, or not going into the world feeling that you're entitled to stuff, right? At the time was a horrible experience though. But I'm so grateful for the knowledge, because I learned about business. That's my first exposure to managing a business and so on and so forth. But yeah, so his golden rule was, if you're in a business, you need to know about the business, all right? But not necessarily a specialist, but you need to know, because you don't want your employees to come give you false figures and then you think it's okay because you have no clue about whatever you're doing, right? So from the car wash, I moved on to um, apprenticeship for AC repairs and maintenance, so I can service ACs. I could do that myself. I spent about 6 months over there. Salary for that was around the same. Yeah, oh, that was a lot more hours though. That was like from 8 to about sometimes 9, sometimes 11, sometimes 5. It was really flexible, but it was apprenticeship, so it was a skill that I was learning at the time. Um, I eventually got left that, and I went over to burning DVDs, which took me to 10, about 12 US dollars per week. Did that for like 2 or 3 months, and then I went to the military. The military was my first long term job. Still didn't like jobs, but I was a teenager. I was 18. I was 18, and I had no um, really strong financial foundation, you know. So I understood that it was of paramount importance that I get myself into well steady income. I get myself steady income. All right. Um, at the time, I had no clue about business. I didn't know anything else. Went into military. I spent 3 years there. I left on in 2015. Yes, 2015. Um, I wrote my letters. I had 7 interviews, and they were asking me why would I leave. I'm doing so well, etc., etc. And I said to them, I'd like to go on and try business. It didn't work out that way because I still had no clue about business. Um, Left military, went I went over to a shipping company, a John Finance, that we have here in Guyana. Starting salary for there was about this 12, 13, about 4, 12, 12, 10, 5, 10. No, I'm sorry, not 12 US, not 12 US. Let me just get the total amount here for the salary. I said the wrong thing. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Just so, yeah, the salary for that place, the starting salary that I had was it's still processing. Ah, about 70 US dollars per week. All right. Around this time, I tried to help my mother out and so on, and we had like so many things, and I started to take loans because I realized that my salary couldn't cover my living expenses plus my savings that was necessary to for me to build that financial foundation that I was telling you about earlier. So that was the first big mistake. So when I say get rid of bad debt, remove bad debt, I know what I mean. Okay. So moving forward, after I left the job, on the final year of my tenure at the job, I started the University of Guyana. So I was working, and then I started trying business. So I would go to work I would wake up at 4 a.m. I would go to bed at 10 because I had night classes, which would last up to about 9:15. So I go to bed at 10. I live close by, so I'd be home relatively quickly. Go to bed at 10, wake up at 4, go to work for 7 a.m. My lunchtime was at 11, so from 11 to 12, sometimes 1, I would come back to work late. I would be out delivering things that I started to sell on Facebook Marketplace, because the marketplace I was killing it. My first job though, my first business venture was not delivering sneakers and whatnot that I was selling. It was I saved money from working, and I had invested in some meat and icicles and ice cream, and I would sell them on my weekends at home from work. All right, my first first business, ice cream, frozen products, the profits would look like this. This was my profit for every single ice cream or whatever I would sell. This is the profit. Eventually, I diversified into retail online, and Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace. Then I would go to work lunchtime. I would eat real quickly and then go do my deliveries, come back to work, and then leave work at 4, get over to class, start class at 4, 5, 6, whatever time. And then I started another business on campus, where we do food deliveries on campus. So, because I noticed a problem, and I said entrepreneurs solve problems, all right? So I noticed a problem where there's no like good food, the type of that I would like to have, and it so happened that the type that I would like to have was the type that lots of people would like to have as well. So my mother, she was cooking. She'd been cooking since she was about 17 years old, right? So she had experience in the field. She's cooked at many top class restaurants. Like she was the head cook at 19 at one of our international. Excuse me, please. Yeah, she was the head cook at 19, trained by French chefs, um, at one of the internationally acclaimed hotel in our country here, with the Tower Hotel, right? In when she was 19, so it was like 97, 95 time, right? So she knew her stuff. So we started the diner there, selling food. So I now had my job, school, two businesses. All right, job, school, two businesses. Um, so my tenure at the final year of my service at the shipping company was extremely rough. My GPA decreased, but my income increased. So my income went from this to the ice cream business and so on at home, this, which is twice that amount. So every single one I would sell, I would get, excuse me. Yeah. So every single one I would sell, I would get this amount of profit. All right. Moving on, I so left the job, quit the job, started to work full time in the diner, and I discontinued selling the products at home because the refrigerator that I had, it was shot, it was done. Um, it was really old, so I couldn't store things in there anymore. It wasn't working, and to repair it, I couldn't afford that either right at the time. So yeah, so I started university. I took a loan. Like, I'm really, really, really happy that we live in a country where you can have that kind of assistance, so that you can study even if you can't afford it. Yeah. So I when I'm finished with UG, I still have debt, have that loan. I have loads of debt. I have like, it's a lot of debt. Mostly to people who told me, you don't need to pay me back. I'm helping you with your business, whatever. But I still remember those people, and I will be doing something good for them. All right. Um. So now I have no job. I have two businesses, one of which I ceded because it was, was not profitable anymore. I had one business and class. GPA increased and finances increased. So my profits went from this to this, quantities of this, right? So I started to save and so on, and then started to pay off debts, like personal debts and so on. And then I've been doing that. I was doing that, and so remember the bank debt that I told you about that I took all the way back in my tenure at the shipping company? Yeah, that came back to haunt me, and so I needed to get another job. So I did some time over at I did some time. I was employed over at the Caribbean Cinemas. Tough, tough job, tough, tough, tough. It was school was out, it was summer, so I was working shifts. It was like 3 a.m., 2 in the afternoon or something to about almost midnight or 11 p.m. So it was really, not enough sleep, hard. Anyhow, after that, I went over. I quit that and I went over at Giftland, not Caribbean Cinemas, Giftland, and I was there. Um, so I used that opportunity to pay off that debt over the bank. Awesome, awesome, and I freed myself and my time. So I then moved on to focusing more on the diner selling food, and then Corona hit. Thank you, Corona. So the virus hit, and now I'm stuck at home, and I had nothing to do, no money. But my savings was depleting really fast because I live alone and I have my bills, and you don't need to eat, but those bills, yeah, they need to be paid. So my living expenses was really creeping up on me, and so I started to sell literally leaves off of trees. So here in my country we have a really good herbal market, I'd say, and so I started to sell moringa, which is a herb that's used to strengthen the immune system. But it has those properties, and so yeah, given the fact that corona attacks your weak immune system, probably that was the first wave of information we received, and so I told people, strengthen your immune system, use the moringa leaves. It works. It helped me to overcome dengue fever. Yeah, couple. Yep, I left the military with that. Anyhow, my financial journey. So afterwards, I was stuck at home, and the leaves were not selling as much, and I then fell back on another branch of my company because when I started the diner at UG campus, I also established the very first time when I was selling ice frozen products. I when it was this was my profit. I I wrote a business plan for 7 branches of a company, and so I placed these necessary branches like backup plans. Right, so I took one of the branches and I turned it into what I have now, which is Congruence Penmanship, and we do writing for everything. I've written for overseas universities, overseas businesses. I've written for overseas newspapers. Yeah, students, teachers in local universities as well, homework, military personnel. Yeah, I've done. My team and I, we've really done some work. Right, so that's where I am currently earn. I have so many plans going forward, but right now the plan is to create that financial foundation that is necessary. So I said all of that to say to you that it doesn't matter what situation you're in. It really does matter actually, but someone asked me once, what should I do if I'm in a situation and I can't get out? I said, like, wait it out. Sometimes you can't control your life, or you have goals and you want to do those and so on, and you can't because of the situation. You have parental expectations, family, whatever, you have children, whatever. At some point you'll be able to pursue those goals. So I say, keep them written, keep the plan working, work the plan as much as you can, save as much as you can, invest in that as much as you can, learn about it as much as you can, and until that time comes. For me, someone asked me the purpose of life. Life is a gift. One thing is certain for sure is that we're gonna die. But it's a relatively short gift. Life is short, but it's the longest thing you'll ever do. All right. So the purpose of that was given to you, is free. Is you can choose your own purpose, depending on the cultures vary, upbringing vary, whatever. Everything is vary. Is subjective, but you can just choose your own purpose. So the purpose of life is to make the knowledge, the use the opportunity of life to choose that specific purpose that just drives you, and that you have in your heart, that you want to do, that you think something that you can give to the world. All right. So that's, for me, is the purpose of life. All right. It is so ambiguous. It's a gift that we don't have a predefined purpose for every person. Some people do, and that's okay. Some people believe in it, and that's fine. But as I said, purpose is subjective, so that you need to find it for yourself. Ways to find it is you live, and deep within you, there's supposed to be something that says, "I want to do this. I want to do that." It may change from time to time. It may you may not find it in the time you want to, or some moment may just snap and you say, "I know what I want to do with my life." You know. So yeah, but with finances, with money, it's also very important to know what you want to do. And as I said, my very, very first video, it's actually labeled the first video. You could go watch it on my channel. The goal is not to have finances, so I'm going to just splurge and look fancy, whatnot. It's to have resources and people around me that are, to help the rest of the world be the very best version of themselves, right? To alleviate the suffering of the most afflicted, So just to be of great service to the world. And to be of great service, you need a great level of resources, emotional, financial, and intellectual, whatever. All right. So yeah, that's my video for today. I'm going to leave the link to the videos that are recommended in the description. And thank you so much for watching. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. And just don't forget to use time wisely. All right. Enjoy your day.